Okay, so we'll move into the next option. There is the registration, and basically this is to do with the users getting registered on your website, whether or not to allow new users to register. The global password for registration, you can put it here. Display disclaimer on user registration, yes, no, you can, I would probably put it as yes inline. This display capture or the visual confirmation there on the registration page, definitely yes. User registration requires email verification, so this has become very common now that once you have registered with a particular website, that particular website will send you an automatic email. You have to go back to your email, check that particular email from that particular site and just confirm that your email is correct. So I will leave that as yes, even though for the users who are registering it might be a bit of a pain going to their emails and checking everything and clicking and whatnot, but it's always a good idea that you actually have some sort of information that's really real for that particular person who is registering. And by actually having this user registration requires email verification, you are actually verifying that the information, or at least the email entered by that particular user, is legit and that it's real. So I would strongly suggest you leave that as checked. Now we have the availability here to notify the admin of the registration by mail. Admin activation of registrations, I will leave that as checked. Basically the admin has to activate the registrations, otherwise it's still inactive, and for some reason the admin might not want to allow the registration of some particular users, and in that case I would leave this to enabled. But this will actually require some time for the registration to happen, so basically nowadays it's tendency to leave this as unchecked, and once the user has actually filled in on the required information, has verified their email, they'll be registered straight away. And then the last option there is create user album in the personal gallery on registration, yes or no, and you can see that this is not recommended, but it is the available option there nevertheless. In the user settings we'll find some settings which will describe the users and what they're allowed and not allowed to do. The very first option is there, allow unlocked users or guest access. Now, so basically this is anyone who comes to your site, what would you like them to be able to do? So allow them, no meaning nothing. Yes, thumbnails only, yes, thumbnails and intermediate images, and lastly you have the option to enable your guests to view everything. Default upload method, so you have two methods here, the simple one and the more advanced one. Then you have the option to allow users to choose the upload method. Then you have the notify admin of user upload awaiting approval, allow logged in users to view the member list, allow the users to change the email address in their profiles, allow users to delete their own account, allow users to retain control over their files in the public galleries, allow users to move their albums from two allowed categories, and allow users to edit their albums when in a locked category, allow users to assign album keywords. How do you want users to be able to log in? With their username, with their email, or with both. Then we have the number of failed login attempts until temporarily banned. Basically, if we say 3 times, if you enter the wrong password or the username or the email, your account will be temporarily banned. So basically this is of course to avoid unauthorized logging in and everything else. Duration of the temporary ban after failed login, so this is in minutes. Automatically purge expired bans, yes or no. Enable report to admin, I'll say that to yes. Users can rate their own files. Okay, so this is here pretty self-explanatory, and this is actually what you would like your users to be able to do. So this is talking mostly about the unregistered users and how they can go and register and then upload files and everything else. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And then we'll move to custom fields for user profiles. Okay, First of all, we have the profile name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and basically this is what you would like your users to enter once they're actually, building and registering with your website. In the profile name 1, you have the location, interest, websites, occupation, and biography. So basically you can put anything here that will be displayed during the process. So basically this is going to be a custom field for the user profile. This is something that they would have to, in a way, insert. And basically you can even put, for example, age here, and they will have to enter their age or whatever you would like in those particular fields. Custom fields for image description. Once again, this is similar to the previous option here, and you will have 5 fields here, and basically you can enter any sort of information you would like here, or you can leave it blank if you're unsure. Cookies setting is the next one. Basically cookies name and the cookies path you would put here. So basically if you are making some cookies, and this is of course to do with the actual security and everything else of your web page, and when certain people come to your page, they will have to accept the cookies in order for them to view the full content. And if you do have those particular files, you will actually write the name here and you will put the path here, and that will be automatically uploaded onto your web page, onto your photo gallery, and the users will, in a way, have to accept the cookies if they are to view the full content. Email settings, usually nothing has to be changed here. Basically we're not going to change anything here, but just so you know, if you would like to use some sort of a different email provider, you would put the host name here, your username and your password. But if you would like to use the existing email, so basically this is the email that you registered your Coppermine Photo Gallery with, you would leave this as blank. Okay, then we have the logging and statistics. So login mode, whether or not to have it, on or off, and all log files are written in English. So off meaning that there will be no logging of anything. You have normal, and all, you have the option to view pre-existing logs there as well. Log e-cards, now you can either select that or deselect it here, and basically this is actually saying here that logging e-cards might have some legal impacts, and you should inform the users that their e-cards are being logged. Okay, so make sure that if you do enable this, you follow this note here, and that you do create a separate web page where your policy is actually going to be presented. Keep detail vote stats, so basically when you have some photos being voted, good and all whatnot, whether or not to keep the full detail stats. Keep the detail hit stats, display the statistics in the index page, count file views, count admin views, and count admin views. Basically this is all to do with your logging and the statistics, and I like to call this section here the feedback. So you're getting some sort of a feedback about your users and everything else that's happening on your web page, including the count of file views, for example, or actually how many times a admin has been viewed and whatnot. Okay, the last section there is the maintenance section, and here we only have a couple of options here. First of all is the enable debug mode. Yes, everyone admin only, and if you do enable it, I will put the admin only here. Display notice in the debug mode, I will say yes. Gallery is offline. Okay, so when there's some maintenance happening, would you like your gallery to be offline? I would strongly suggest yes. Display news from the copperminegallery.net. This is totally up to you, and this is only going to be displayed to the admin. So basically, if you are the admin, would you like to receive some sort of a news from the Coppermine Gallery? And I guess it's a good idea to have this ticked, as you would get some updates and some maybe important news from the copperminegallery.net. And the last option there is whether or not to display the reset boxes in the config. Okay, so basically this is all the configuration that's needed in order to have your Coppermine Photo Gallery running smoothly. Alright, So if I was to move all the way to the bottom, there is a save new configuration, and once you have clicked on that save button, all of the changes that you have made will actually be saved. Now it's actually displaying a message here that a valid form token could not be found. Basically, I used so much time going through all of the settings, and in a way my time has expired. So basically, when you're changing those settings, make sure that you actually do it quite fast, and then it should be okay when you click on save new configuration. Okay, so you can change that as well in one of those settings, and I think we went through that recently. There it is. Form token lifetime, I had it set to 900 seconds. So if you set this to maybe like that 10,000 seconds, then it will give you a bit more time to actually play around and take your time by actually setting all these values. So if I click on the save configuration, and you can see that it's been saved, and basically even my gallery name is not changed. So I'll quickly change that to what I had before already, and I'll move all the way down and click on the save new configuration, and now we have a new gallery. And that's basically the basic configuration that you have to go through in order to set the Coppermine Photo Gallery before you actually go into adding images and before you actually go into customizing your online Coppermine Photo Gallery. You will have to come here and set all of these settings according to your needs and according to your preferences.